Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a video on how to create bee fans for any upcoming events. These are always a huge hit at any of the past gatherings that we've had. So the first thing you want to do is go online and print out the stencil file that's located on the printables and graphics page. I'll include the link along with this video. You may want to adjust the size depending on what you intend to use a stencil for. I found that if you print the full page, it's a little on the large side, and if you print the half page, it's a little on the small side. Luckily, I ended up using one of the previous fans that were made as my template. Next, you want to get some stencil paper or acetate, which I found this particular one at Joann Fabrics, and it was only about $2. This can ultimately make two templates, or in my case, serve as a backup if you mess the first one up. Anyway, go ahead and cut it in half. Tape the template to the bottom. And using an X-Acto knife, box cutter, hot knife, whatever works, go ahead and cut out the image. Tip 1, the obvious, be sure to use cardboard or something under it before cutting. Tip 2, cut as close to the line, of course, but if anything, cut more on the inside versus the outside, since you can always cut off more when adjusting the final product. Tip 3, fold up the corners when you're done so you can easily lift it up after the paint has been applied. Let me go ahead and show you the template that I have so far. This is what it'll look like when the paint has dried on it. But when you fold up the corners here, it makes it a lot easier to just pick it up and lay it on the next one. Now that you have the stencil, you'll want to get some yellow folders. These particular ones are on Amazon right now for 15 bucks for a box of 100, which ultimately equate to 200 fans since you cut the folders in half. Next, you'll want to take one of those folders, line up the stencil, apply the paint, and let it dry. Depending on the paint you use and how thick you apply it, it may take a little while to dry, so be sure you have adequate space. I've used two types of paint for this project, and they both work equally well. The Kids Workshop from Home Depot is one that's on the lighter side. It applies easier and also washes off easier. The Apple Barrel acrylic paint I've used, but if you plan to print on shirts or anything, this is the one to go with since it'll hold up in the washing machine. It's print on paper, so just go with what's cheap and works. You may even decide you want to use spray paint to expedite the process. I haven't tried that, so I don't know how it'll apply on this. Once it's dry, go ahead and cut it out. You may want to get fancy and trace along the B shape. I think that looks great, but ultimately impacts the airflow, so that's why I just use the oval shape. You'll also want to leave some room to be able to write the website down, to direct people on where they can get involved in their area, and find out additional information about our mission to save the bees. At that point, go ahead and glue the sticks on. These are wavy jumbo fan sticks that I purchased on Amazon, but found that the price went up on this last run, so luckily I found the source, which is craftysticks.com, and the price was much better by going direct. I was able to get a box of 400 for 25 bucks with $11 for shipping. As far as glue, I'm sure anything will work, but since the handle was wood, I just went with wood glue. So the quick and easy way to glue en masse is to just lay them out like so. You want to apply the glue to half of the stick, put it on and sort of spread it out to make sure the top section is covered well. Another tip, after you apply the glue, go back and apply some pressure on them since it may lift up a bit, and also the handles aren't completely straight, so just by going by once and pressing on it, it'll do the trick. Final tip would be to make sure that you let it dry completely before stacking them or moving them, since they may shift on you. Note that you have some real estate on the back of the fan now, so you could ultimately put a sticker there or write additional information. What I think I may do is format a document so that it would fit on the back of this, and I can just glue it instead of having two things to pass out. And that's pretty much it. These work especially well since most events are outside and people are more susceptible to receiving one since it's a functional item. This also gets kids involved too, since it's not just literature on a flyer that they may not be able to read or understand. It serves as a fan, networking and driving people to the site. If someone didn't make a sign or banner, they now have one that they can hold in one hand, and the handle fits nicely in a pocket as well if you don't want to hold it. Also, you're less inclined to see these lying on the ground as opposed to a flyer if someone didn't want it. It can be stuck in the ground and displayed at that point. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it's inspired you to want to do the same and helped out with the technique as well. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send an email to beagainstmonsanto@gmail.com or post on the Facebook page. Please remember to be against Monsanto every day. Take care.